Hello there and welcome to my Tormented Demons guide. As always, this guide is going to be focused around using low-level gear so that no matter who is watching this, they feel like this information can apply to them and they can easily kill Tormented Demons. Now, the great thing about Tormented Demons is you really can effectively kill them with all three combat styles. I'm going to be focusing on melee and magic for this guide, but you can very easily use range as well. Now, some assumptions I'm going to be making for this guide is that if you're meleeing, you have an arc light. I mean, if you can do the quest, there's no way you don't have an arc light. The arc light is very effective. You're going to want to be using it on stab. If we take a look at the stats of the Tormented Demons, they're by far the most resistant to slash compared to stab and crush. So you're going to be using an arc light on stab for melee. And then for magic, we're going to be using what I think is a really overlooked spell. This is going to be the Dark Demon Bane spell. It requires level 82 magic, and you're going to be using it in conjunction with the Mark of Darkness spell, which requires 59 magic. Both of these are on the Arceus spellbook, and they deal really good damage to Tormented Demons. So again, magic-wise, I'm going to be assuming you have 82 magic. So as far as gear setup goes, it really doesn't have to be anything specific. This is the melee gear that I'm going to be wearing. As you can see, I've got Blood Moon on, a Berserker Ring, just the best strength bonus that I can get. I would say a Fire Cape is great. If you don't have a Fire Cape, an Ardoon Cloak for the stab bonus would be a good option. Just focus on getting as high strength bonus as you can, while, of course, wearing things like a Defender to boost your accuracy as well. Once again, gonna keep the magic gear really simple. I'm switching to a Mystic top and bottom, a Blue Moon Spear, and a Mage Arena 2 cape. Now, I'm going to be putting a list of all of the stabs that you can auto-cast Arceus spells with on the screen, because again, we're using an Arceus spell. The list is kind of small, but I mean, even if you have to use a Slayer staff, that'll be fine. I would say Aram's staff or better is ideal, because the Aram staff and the Blue Moon staff, for example, both have 5% magic damage, but if you have to use a Slayer staff, it'll work, honestly. Now, as far as your rune pouch goes, the Mark of Darkness spell requires souls and cosmics, and the Dark Demon Bane spell requires souls and fires. So at a minimum, you're going to need to bring souls, fires, and cosmics. Now, I would also recommend you bring blood runes while you're at it, because that's a requirement for summoning thralls. And if you're on the Arceus spellbook, it's silly not to use thralls. It's just free DPS. So my inventory is going to look something like this. I've got my magic switch, I've got a teleport out, I've got my rune pouch and my Book of the Dead, which is required for thralls. I've got my sapphire lantern, which is required to get to Tormented Demons. I've got a super attack and strength, a magic potion, some prayer potions, and some food. As far as your ratio of prayer to food, that's something you'll have to figure out for yourself as you go, tweak it as needed. So this is what the map looks like. Now when you enter in, the first room you're going to see is this one right here. Now from there, there's all these little fingers that branch out. I'm going to highly recommend you go fight the Tormented Demons in these rooms. This big area down here, now, that's going to have a bunch of Tormented Demons in it, but it's going to be a bit of a clusterfuck. I would not recommend. If you go to any one of these individual rooms, you'll find one, sometimes two Tormented Demons. It might be a little bit busy, especially if you're watching this guide soon after I upload it, but just hop worlds. Eventually you'll find one. If there's two Tormented Demons in a room, two people can share. So yeah, personally, I've had pretty good success going to the southwestern room. There is two of them here, and it's not super busy, although again, that could change at any time, really. Before I show you a sample kill, let's take a look at the mechanics of the Tormented Demon. The Tormented Demon will attack with all three combat styles. Its magic attack, it kind of leans forward and shoots a fireball at you. Its range attack, it raises its left arm and throws a rock at you. And its melee attack, it swipes at you with its right arm. Now, as you can see, the Tormented Demons do use overhead prayers. It is going to change its overhead prayer every time you deal 25% of its health. So if it's protecting from melee, and you're attacking it with magic, once you deal 25% of its health, it's then going to protect from magic, so you'll switch to your melee gear, and so on. Now, as far as the Tormented Demons attacks itself, it is going to use the same attack style, and when it changes, it will bind you. Now, it makes it really obvious because it binds you in place and it launches these skulls at you. Now, when it does this, it's going to turn your run energy off. So you have to step away from the flaming skulls, and you only have a couple of ticks to do this. It is a little bit, it's a little bit quick. Now, once it does this, it is going to change its attack style. And from here, we have to do a bit of critical thinking. If the Tormented Demon was using magic, for example, and it's going to change its attack style, it can only change to either range or melee. Now, we can figure out which it's going to use by walking away. If we walk away from the Tormented Demon and it follows us, you know it's going to melee. If it doesn't follow you, then you know it's going to range. Hopefully that makes sense. The only time you don't know what it's going to pray is if it's using melee. Because if it's using melee and then it changes, it's a 50-50 coin flip. It could change to magic, could change to range. Just take a guess. Good luck. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down a sample kill. So the demonic gorilla is spawning, and I can see that it's praying melee. So I'm going to be swapping to my magic gear. And as you can see here, the Tormented Demon, I don't know if it's going to be using magic, range, or melee. There's no way of knowing what it's going to start with. I was protecting from magic. It happened to be range. Unlucky. Not much you can do about that. So if you're going to be using magic, first things first, always remember to cast your Mark of Darkness spell. It makes a massive difference in your damage and your accuracy of your Arceus spells. If you have the timers plug in on Runelight, it's going to give you a little tool tip thingy. Like you can see it above my inventory. It'll count down the minute until my Mark of Darkness runs out. It's really, really beneficial for your spells. So at this point, I'm attacking the Tormented Demon. In my mind, I'm thinking this thing is probably going to change its attack style before it changes its overhead. So I'm going to kind of hover my cursor on the floor here. I'm going to get ready to move because I'm anticipating it's probably going to be coming soon. Now, because it's ranging me right now, that means it can only use magic or melee. And again, we talked about it earlier. If I take a step away, I can deduce if it's going to be melee or not. As you can see, it did change to protect from magic, so I just quickly put my melee gear on and started attacking it with that. And at this point, I know it's been quite a while, so it's definitely going to change its attack style pretty quickly here. And there it is. It hits you with the bind. I step away from the flaming skulls, and I see that it doesn't follow me, so I protect from magic. If it followed me, I would know that it's melee, but it didn't follow me, so I use magic instead. Once you kind of get that thought processes down, these become like very, very little damage. The only damage you'll take is the unavoidable damage, which is when it goes from melee, because then, again, it's a coin flip. So other than that, you know, it's just a matter of being prepared to step away from the skulls when it does it. And whenever it changes its overhead prayer, you know, swapping your gear. Again, really important to cast your Mark of Darkness spell whenever you're using magic. And one more tip, really quick. In regards to dodging the bind and the flaming skulls that he shoots at you. So he does turn your run energy off. But if you didn't know, in this game, when your run energy is off, you can hold down the control key and click on the ground to run. So even though he turns your run off, if you're quick enough, you can press down the control key and click and you'll run. That's going to give you a little extra leeway to dodge the skulls. I thought I'd throw that in the guide just in case you were struggling with it, because you only have 2 ticks to dodge. So control click can give you a little extra leeway because you'll actually run instead of walk. So as you can see, really quick, he gets one cheeky little flaming skull in as he dies there. But always just, if you're unsure, just hover your mouse near the floor. You know, hover your mouse on the ground, be ready to move. And it's just that simple. I don't know. Like, if you can kill demonic gorillas, I genuinely think that these are easier demonic gorillas because you have to switch your gear less frequently. Like, these are just more reclined demonic gorillas. Okay, so we're gonna do kind of a live action kill here. I'm gonna try to commentate it a bit more casually, you know, just do it in real time so you guys can see what a real kill looks like. I am gonna be using melee and range for this one, so as you can see, he is praying range, so I am going to be using melee to start. Let's see what his attack style is. It is magic. Nice, I was right. So, okay, my thought process right now. He's using magic. That means when he changes, it's either going to be range or melee. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind as this approaches. He is now praying melee, so I'm going to swap to my Atlatl, which is honestly not bad. I mean, I am using rigor and stuff, but it's not bad to be honest. Okay, so he is going to definitely bind me soon, so I'm going to get ready to control, click, and run away. Or you can just walk away if you're confident. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to control, click, and run. He does not chase me down, so I know that I'm going to pray range and not melee. Easy peasy. Now I'm chilling. Okay, so there you go. Thought process I was about to say. I know he's going to change his overhead soon, and he just did. So now I'm back to using melee. And again, he is ranging me. What does that mean? When he changes attack style, it has to be magic or range. So, let's get ready to run away from the skulls, which is probably going to be happening pretty quickly here. Looks like I out DPS'd him, so I'm back to the Atlatl. And it should be runaway time. Does he chase me? He does not, so we pray magic. Done. It's as simple as that, you know? I feel like... and the reason why I wanted to make this guide is... it feels really good to me when, like, a boss clicks, you know? When a piece of content clicks and it makes sense to me, I want to try my hardest to share that with other people so that hopefully I can help them have that click moment as well. And they're like, oh, this is easy all of a sudden now. Well, that's going to be it for today's guide. I really do hope that it was helpful. Thank you so very much for watching, and best of luck on your drops.